And before we move on from the story, just a little bit more on the violence, because it has surged and it has led to an increase in Somalis crossing into neighbouring countries to seek refuge. In February, fighting erupted in the central city of Lasanod between troops of Somalia's breakaway region of Somaliland and also local militia. Over the last 2 months, almost 100,000 people have fled, with many arriving in Ethiopia's eastern Somali Regional State. Well, as the humanitarian needs of those displaced continues to increase, the UN Refugee Agency has announced the start of efforts to relocate the most vulnerable. The BBC's Temesgen Debesai reports.
Somali refugees who have fled conflict in their home country are being relocated to a new site in Ethiopia's Mirkan Bok district, approximately 50 kilometers from the borders. The relocation is being organized by Ethiopia's Refugees and Returnees Service in partnership with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees and other partners. Upon arrival, refugee families are registered biometrically and provided with tents and basic relief items to establish their new homes.
The relocation of newly arrived refugees in Ethiopia who fled clashes in Somalia's Lasanod city has begun, with 1,036 of the most vulnerable people transferred from border areas to a new settlement over the past 3 days.
The establishment of the new site aims to provide shelter, core relief items, food and water to the newly arrived refugees who were previously living in precarious conditions. Existing services in the nearby town will also be strengthened to benefit both refugees and host communities, and targeted assistance will be provided to those who wish to remain there.
Relocation, it's taking place because the areas where refugees arrived, they were settling at the border with Somalia. They were sleeping outdoors. The areas where they were staying were started to be overcrowded, leading to increased protection risks.
Since clashes began in mid-February, thousands of people have arrived in Ethiopia's Somali region seeking safety, with 91,000 people already registered by the Refugees and Returnees Service with UNHCR's support. Most of the refugees are women, children and the elderly, including over 3,400 unaccompanied and separated children and adolescents who have shared harrowing stories of being separated from their families and unable to reunite with them since. Last month, the UNHCR and humanitarian partners launched an interagency emergency refugee response plan totaling $116 million to provide immediate assistance to refugees and host communities in the area. Ethiopia has a long history of hosting refugees and currently homes nearly 1 million of them from neighboring countries including South Sudan, Somalia, Eritrea and Sudan. Temesgen Debesai, BBC News.